going on, everyone? This is John, the Wolf of Ecom. I'm super excited to bring one of my good friends, Josue Martin, on to join us today. We actually connected almost, I'd say, 10 months ago when you were first having issues with Facebook bans. We helped you get up and running then, get back alive again, which is cool. And it's even cooler to see you here 10 months later, crushing it, making a lot of changes, growing. So why don't you fill us in on who you are, where you're from, how long you've been in e-com, and what you're working on today.
Yeah, for sure, man. So what's up, everyone? I'm Josue. I'm 21. I'm French. And I've been doing e-com for technically the past 3 years, but like seriously only a year and a half. And yeah, as you said, man, a year and a half ago is kind of when it clicked, started making money, but then I was getting fucked by Facebook. So this is where like your program basically saved me. And from there, yeah, man, I've been since then, building every little thing. Each time you have a new little like bottleneck. So it was Facebook, then the next thing, and like you just keep going over these problems, and yeah, keep growing, man.
What first got you into e-com?
Man, you know what? When I started, like when I was younger, I was making music actually, and those type beats on YouTube. You saw like the type beats, right? So I was doing that shit when I was like 18 years old or something. But I got burnt out of the music. So I was like, fuck, I like selling stuff online, but I got to figure out a real business. Like music is not it. And then I think I literally like Googled how to make money online or something. And I found some videos about dropshipping, and the rest is history, man.
Did you first connect with my buddy in the French market, Florian Tep?
Nah, man, I'll be honest. I know almost no one in the French like community. I just stayed away from
Yeah.
I don't know.
How did you, what was it like at first? So you started in e-com, like dabbling, I guess you could say, what, 2019?
Yeah, but the thing with me is basically when I started, I guess you could say I got lucky. So I had no money. The first product I think I did, I started with doing, the shout outs on like the meme pages because I didn't have money for Facebook. But I got lucky, and like my first product was like those reusable straws, with the turtle, like save the turtle angle. I got lucky. Basically, I didn't know anything, and I made like 5K profit in 2 weeks, which at the time, I was like 18 years old. Something was crazy.
It's huge, yeah.
And then I got a cease and desist from the brand that actually sold that shit, so I had to stop. And then I moved on to Facebook, and first product, got lucky and made like I think 30K profit or something in like a month. Yeah, bro, it was crazy, and I was young and I didn't know. I just started out, so I was like, yeah, man, now it's gonna be like this forever. And I just got fucked up, and then after that I had to fucking grind for like a year straight. I think I didn't make a single dollar or something. Like, yeah, man, the process was crazy.
And you were still living in France then, right?
No, I always did because I got started with the Gabriel Saint-Germain course, like a lot of people here, I think. And so I always I've never ran in Europe actually. I always did like mostly US.
But now is your strategy not? You don't need to give away all the secret sauce, but is now
your
strategy to go into those European markets and translate?
Nah.
Or you still US?
Nah, I'm still doing only US. Yeah, just 100% US, man. That's all I do. The Europe situation, man, it's like the market is good, but with the VAT, it's like obviously there are ways to get around it, but it's always like kind of gray area. Like there's no legal way to get around it, so it's always a risk. So I'm like, if I can make money in the US and not take that risk, I'd rather stay in the US than like, that's my stance on it right now.
And just so people have an idea, because I know you're serious about this business, you put up good numbers. Like what's your gross daily sales on average right now?
Doing about 35 right now.
30 to 35,000 US dollars per day at 21 guys. So just that's really freaking good. Like my personal best day was like 40,000, and that was 2020. So
yeah, man.
That's why this guy impresses me so much. I want to bring him on.
Bro.
What do you see working right now? So you're still US market, you're still Facebook dominant, or do you do more TikTok or influencer?
Yeah, I do a tiny bit of Pinterest, but Pinterest isn't that scalable. So it's still like 90% Facebook, I would say.
That's awesome. And how's attribution issues?
Attribution for me, it's actually really weird because even driving traffic to the same store, it's per ad account for me. So I have some ad accounts that are doing really well and others that are tracking like 10%. So I'm just relying on Google Analytics, like UTM parameters, and that's what's working for me right now.
So you're not using like Commently or Triple Whale or any Hyros or anything?
No. I tried a lot of these and they weren't, either they didn't work or I feel like they're just reskins of Google Analytics with like, they don't really bring anything. So.
A glorified UTM track.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, it's just UTM with a nice UI. So I don't see the point.
What, and I know when we first connected, you were running mainly one brand, right? It was like a dropshipping.
Yeah.
What's changed since then in the last 10 months?
Regarding that brand, I mean, not a ton, man. I've added more products, obviously, because that's one big thing for me that took me from doing, like I would say from doing like 10K to like 30K is understanding, like talking with people and understanding like the guys you see that are doing like 100K a day plus whatever, they're not doing it with like one store or one product. Like you gotta expand horizontally at least a little bit. So I added more products. I'm trying, improve the customer experience. I'm still working on that right now. Improve like the creative, the marketing, everything. But other than that, man, it's still pretty similar to what you saw like when we were like doing calls back then.
So you're running multiple stores now, each with their own like core product, or is it that one store?
Yeah. So it's still mainly like a lot of it is that store that you saw. A lot of it actually, like really most of it, truthfully. I'm just now starting a little bit testing like new niches or doing like collab stores with people I met recently, but still mostly that store and just adding more products into the same niche.
So I know I briefly remember the product. I'm not going to drop the product name here. What's your current average order value, like conversion rate, CPA, just so people, especially guys that are a little more advanced, so they kind of understand your game, right?
Yeah. Well, let me check right now. I'm gonna pull my sheet.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So right now this month I'm at $90 AOV with a 4% conversion rate. So that's where I'm at right now.
On that same product.
Yeah, on that same product that you saw. And in the main second one, so I added the second one that's slightly lower ticket. And that one is at the $56 AOV with the 3.6 conversion rate, but the margin on this one is a lot better. So it doesn't need to be like as high ROAS basically.
The $90 AOV, what's a single unit sell for? Like $80, $60?
Yeah, 60, I think.
And that's probably your cost of goods is what, 25 with shipping?
So the AOV is 90 and the average cost of goods is 30. I don't remember the cost of goods for like one unit, but I think it's around 20, maybe 25 max.
So like almost like a 2x markup. So it cost you X and you doubled that for the sale price.
I try to aim for 3x. Usually, I think when I launched this one, it was 3x originally, and since then, with everything that's been going on, the prices have been going up, and I didn't up my prices, but usually I try to aim for a 3x at least.
Yeah. What do you so I think the first, if we're making like a bullet point, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if my editor is going to do that on the screen or not. I could ask him. First lesson of success here is probably higher mid-ticket, I guess, whatever you want to call it, right? So probably something that you could sell for at least $30 to $40 bare bones minimum in the US market with ideally a 3x markup, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends because, for example, that second product, right now I downscaled it a little bit, but at one point I was pulling 20K a day with just that product, and the minimum ticket is 25, I think. So I don't really have it's more about the AOV that you can get out of it. I think if your AOVs and if you have a product with a low ticket, but you can sell a lot of bundles, lots of upsells, or I think, or we have a lot of LTV, it makes sense. I think if your AOV overall is under $50, it's probably gonna be hard to make it in those markets with like the CPMs and everything.
Especially with the US market.
Yeah, especially with the US market.
But now, guys, full disclosure too, he's using PayPal. So that does have an impact, right?
Yeah. But PayPal has cost. Like they're holding I think they have 250K right now for me. So it's it's fucked, man.
So what was a change with your core product when you cut PayPal off? Like what you saw with your conversion rate or
It pretty much dropped in half. So I couldn't. I think I went from like 4% to 2% like overnight. So
oof.
I just can't run without PayPal, man.
What what's stopping you right now? I know you're super focused. Obviously, you're getting great numbers. What's stopping you now from just duplicating this and putting into Germany, duplicating and putting in Sweden, duplicating, putting into Finland?
Cash flow, man. It's PayPal. It's those fucking holes. That's what I'm working on right now. It's really getting that payment infrastructure and fixing all those cash flow issues. That's even in the US. Like the US is a huge market with the ROAS and the margins I'm seeing right now. There's definitely a ton of like room to scale still. I'm just stuck at 30K a day because I don't have the cash flow to like spend more on that basically.
What a great first world problem. He's stuck at 30,000
Yeah, man.
What would you say is the second lesson you've had from all this? Because obviously you've had success, but it's not like you had another quick run up and then a crash, right? You've sustained this.
Yeah.
What's a second lesson that someone should take away from this?
I think I think the main thing for me that like I think so what allowed me to like be consistent and pull these numbers, I think if I had to like kind of go through it, first is the product and the market. So obviously, I've been running the same product for like 9 months at this point. So if you obviously everyone has their own strategy, but for me it would be more about finding those really evergreen niches or these products that you can sell for a while, not just hopping on trends. I mean, the way I view it, there's two ways you can go about it. Either you would do more the general store method, but then if you want to keep consistent, you have to test a lot. So you need to be good at like building teams and really automating everything, which is not what I'm good at. I think I'm better at like the creative, the like marketing, putting everything together. So I think either you do that and you're good at building teams and you leverage that, or you're good at more the creative marketing side. And then you would focus in if you're like, because still to this day, man, I have 2 employees, like I have 2 VAs, that's it.
That's
so,
all.
so I do everything myself. So you don't have time to do this and test products. So I think it would be first your product selection. And then it's making sure that's like, for me was, I remember having a whiteboard and making a list of like everything that could go wrong. So I would have, okay, so it can be Facebook, it can be PayPal, it could be my ROAS dropping, could be this, could be that. And just making sure like from every angle, like you're bulletproof and really thinking through it and like staying focused, not because it's easy to see those first like 10K days and you're doing like 3K profit per day. You're like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to Dubai, man, like goodbye, and then you're banned and you're fucked. So
Yeah.
yeah. And the last thing I would say is the people you hang around with. So lately, like 2 weeks ago, I was at a mastermind in Miami, and I met a lot of great people, and it's just, and now it's another, like when I got to Miami, I felt good about doing 30K a day, and then I spoke to people who were doing 150 a day, and I'm like, fuck, now I need to get to that level again. So it's definitely having the right people too. It'll definitely like impact your mindset.
Here's a question. So at that mastermind where you were not the biggest player at this point, right?
No.
What did you see that was consistent between the guys doing 50, 80, 100, 150 a day? And what did you see that was different from you, how you operate, what you focus on?
Yeah. I think for me specifically is all these guys, like you could see the way I run my business would be like at my computer actually doing shit. And those guys were like just being on WhatsApp all day, like either talking to employees or collaborating with people and like really leveraging other people basically. And I think that's what, yeah, exactly. So I think that's what's gonna take you from here to here is like relationships and having like a rock solid team that you can really leverage.
What decisions did you make after that event? Like you left that event the next day and you said, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z differently or start doing this in addition to. What are those?
Yeah. For me, it was definitely building a team because as I told you, I have like 2 VAs. I'm like, fuck, there's no way I'm going to grow past where I'm at now if I'm just alone because I have to do all the creatives. Like I literally like take my phone and record the creatives, do the editing. Like there's no way I'm gonna go fast and add more products and more channels myself. So it's definitely like building a team and staying focused also because you see the guys that do the biggest numbers, they're not the one that are always like you see partying on Instagram, all that shit. Like they're the one that are focused and like they just keep their head down, you know?
Always, man. Like that's what's interesting
Yeah.
about well, one thing I must say that's I've been in this ecom space for since 2017 actually is when I first started working with brands. I came from lead generation. I don't know if you know my story, but I own a gym. I learned Facebook ads to generate leads for that gym. I still have that gym. But then I saw the potential with e-commerce, especially 2017. It was
Yeah.
I found a brand that these girls are local. It was a nail brand. It was the nail dip paddle. You know that one?
I don't think I do, man.
It's like a liquid. It basically they could do like a manicure pedicure at home, but the cost of the product for the consumer is like the package to the starter kit's like 30 to 50 bucks. And they would get, I don't know, 20, 30 mani pedis, which each one of those, if you go to the salon, is like 50 to 100 USD, right? So
Yeah.
it was huge. And they were the first market movers. And this is when Facebook was like coming into being the best. And dude, I just use like simple targeting with their existing ads, like almost like not quite boosting posts, but not quite like
Yeah.
buying. Dude, we took them from 10K a month to 100K a month in the first month. I was
Nice.
like, but it shows you like the product is not everything, but
Yeah.
it almost is, right?
Yeah. It's really important. Yeah.
What what other takeaways did you have from that event?
Huh. Well, yeah, for me, it was definitely, I think focus was a big thing, like really making sure like you're actually putting in the work, building the team. I think that's really the two things I took away. And just mindset, being around those people. Like it's stupid to say, but just your idea of what is high level is really impactful to like your actual. Like there was a time, I think, well, for example, what took me from, I think actually from 10 to 30K was not something really specific, like a problem I fixed. It's just I started talking really regularly to a couple of guys who were pushing like huge numbers and actually having like they actually have affiliates running their offer like huge numbers, and just talking to this guy and we're talking about Facebook ads and was telling me how he runs his ads and talking about starting like testing with like a 1,500 per day budget and shit like that. I was like, it's just starting spending more on ads, man. But you know what I mean? It's like before when I got an ad account to 3K a day in spend, I was like, fuck, that's a lot, and but then when the way you look at things change, then I don't know how to explain it better, but just the way you look at things is so important sometimes.
And just like changing what you believe was possible almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just when you get to a level and you think this is it, or for example, let's say I get a 30K a day and I think it's a lot, then you don't push as hard because you're like kind of like you feel like you made it. But if you have someone to look up to who does 10 times that, then you're gonna keep like always pushing more. So I think that's really important.
What did you find they were doing strategically different, like with traffic sources, or some of these guys just still crushing Facebook and that's it?
Yeah, a lot. Some were obviously like moved more to TikTok, but a lot of people were still doing Facebook. I feel like there wasn't a specific hack or a specific strategy or a specific anything really. It was um, more about the team and the infrastructure. So it was about having the good once you got the offer figured out. Obviously, as we said at the beginning, like you have that product, it's good. It's those guys. What they really had that was different was not some Facebook hack or some traffic platform. Was really having a great team, having the cash flow, and having the knowing where they're going, having the goals, and just doing it every day and going there. I didn't find any specific like strategy that you could like implement today.
What's your next hire?
For me, so I'm doing it right now. So for me, it's definitely video editing and videography because that's what took a lot of my time because also a big part of why I think I've been able to be really consistent is for each product that I have, I test at least 20 creatives a week. So I need to build it. Yeah, yeah.
For one
Well,
product.
20 variations. So I'll have like 4 creatives, like 4 actual creatives, and then each creative like 5 variations. But not just showstopper, like actual different first and second. And so I think that was a big part of what allows me to stay consistent. But obviously, doing it myself takes a lot of time. So that's my next hire.
Have you tested using like Upwork influencers? I guess you could. I know some people like leverage free influencers, like basically like work the relationship to get the free content out of them. Like, have you gone
Yeah.
out?
I tried, yeah. But for my niche and like my product and everything, UGC or influencer content doesn't convert that much. And honestly, for me, it's kind of, I feel almost as like maybe people are starting to get burnt out of UGC because that's kind of all you see.
Yeah.
So professional content has been working better for me lately.
But it's also the platform too. You're Facebook dominant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. If I was doing TikTok, it would be completely different, obviously.
I manage a few brands on the agency side, and it's really interesting. We're basically like I'm sourcing a bunch of like micro wannabe, not wannabe. I don't bash them, but like they're good at making content. They just don't have big followings, right? So they're happy to you toss them $100 or whatever, they'll make you a bunch of videos and they get free product too. And it's really interesting to see what they give back. And then let's say you have 5 creators and you'll launch it on Facebook, you'll launch it on TikTok, same creatives, and you'll say, oh, well, the super attractive girl is clearly going to be the one that wins all of them. And then she's like the second best on TikTok and she's the loser on Facebook out of all.
Yeah.
Super interesting, man. But I would say like, I think the UGC can work for Facebook, but probably the branded like drop shippy brand blend kind of style. I think it's still the winner for the platform, right?
Yeah. I've still run some UGC. I source some UGC or some influencer content every month, or, just in case. And sometimes you would hit like one video or a customer's video. The customer videos work well, but it's more hit and miss. Whereas like scripted, more like drop shipping videos, as you said, it's more like consistent. We can more predict like what's going to work on us.
Question around Facebook. What are you agency ad account dominant now, or do you still mix in regular BMs and ad accounts, personal ad accounts?
Yeah, I've been doing only agency for the past 6 months, I think. And it's really finding the right agency that's actually a good partner and is actually like, good and responsive has really like transformed the business for me and really helped me like been more consistent. Now I'm trying to move away a little bit maybe and try to build another structure because obviously it's like it's expensive.
Your cash flow.
And the cash flow too.
With that
the cash flow, it's expensive. Yeah. And also now, if I'm sure you have access to this, but like you have accounts where you can even get cash back on Facebook and stuff like that. So it's interesting to like go and test that, like where you can get 10% back instead of paying 3% extra. So but for now, only agency.
A little tip too. This would probably help you if you do want to start building up like more of your own assets. I've been leveraging personal ad accounts a lot.
Yeah.
And I've got a guy, I think he's actually French. I'm happy to connect you. He's internal Facebook and he can do daily spend limit increases for you. So you could actually take a few personal ad accounts and submit it to him. You obviously got to pay him, but then he'll drive up. And he's like, yeah, I'll push it as high as it can go over time. And it's not like he does it once and then it's like 5K. It doubles up at every submission. Does. But the reason why I suggest this too, if you're looking to build your own assets, because business managers are so finicky right now, whether they're old or new, like the ban waves the last 30 days have been nuts. What I suggest you do is you take a couple of personal ad accounts, feed them through this process, make that investment into these ad accounts, because remember, personal ad accounts aren't tied to a BM. So if the BM goes down or ad account number 3 goes down, you still have ad account 1, 4, 5 that are running perfectly fine. And it's been working. It's saved so many of my guys and I'm seeing a huge difference myself too.
Yeah. Oh, that's super interesting, man. Yeah, I'll definitely DM you about that after.
Yeah. So let me know, man.
It's really interesting. Okay, okay.
When you first found this product, what did you let's backtrack a little bit. When you first found the
Mm-hmm.
product, you were doing product research. Were you testing different products? Did you stop, take your time, and say, okay, I want to do this one, and you just committed to it? How did that process start?
Yeah, I've never been heavy on like testing a lot of products, so I'm more like really doing like deep research and then launching. Um, yeah, so I did the research. Basically, it's pretty simple. I saw the product. I knew it was like a kind of evergreen problem. I know because I was looking already. I knew I wanted something stable because I don't want to like spend all this time launching a store, finding a product, and then a month after it's dead. So I found that, and then basically just I saw people running it, and they weren't that, like I saw them, and I knew I could do a lot better, basically. So that's it was kind of, my thinking was very simple. It's like if these guys with the shitty stores that are probably I don't know that can't even speak English, probably use Google Translate, they make it work, and I see them scale, and I actually make a nice branding around it, take some nice pictures and everything. It'll work for me, and that was basically it. It was very simple.
Did you start straight away ordering the product, making your own content? Like, how did you
Yeah.
think about it?
Yeah. So when I started, I got kind of lucky because the supplier on Alibaba actually had a really nice video that I used at first, but I also ordered it to my house, but very simple. Like I just took my iPhone, my sister helped me, and we just like shot some content and put it together, and that was the first creatives for that product.
And this was 2021 or 2020?
2020, August 2021.
Guys, this is awesome. Like, I love hearing this because I think people have this misconception that because it's not 2016 or 2017, like this doesn't work, but this actually does. This is what works, right?
Oh yeah. 100%. I think it just in the US market in particular, it still works. It just you have to put the way I see it is you have to put a little bit more effort. Like if you want to make something work in the US market, you have to think about it, think about the product, look at it more as like starting an actual business, right? Rather than I'm gonna test this product, like really do actual research and then put a bit more effort on the business. But the advantage is it makes the barrier to entry a bit higher. So it's and the audience is also very large. So it's once you have something, it's easier to scale it more and keep it for longer. So
that's a good thing though, that barrier of entry. Because I remember in
yeah,
2015, you like nothing was unique. It could be just ripped at any time, and there was nothing
exactly.
about it. Don't like people were savage. They would literally, you could spend hours making your own videos like you do, and someone would just rip that and run it up with that and duplicate your store, and it will work for them, right?
Exactly. Well, whereas now, from time to time, I'll see people running my ads, but it never works. Like they always go down after a while. So Facebook is smarter now, and just the consumers as well. But that's why now in the US, if you find something that's consistent, you find people that ideally you can beat, you can be better than them, and you can do it a little different. So maybe you have a slightly different angle. You find another version of the product looks a bit different. You have something a bit different about you. Most likely, like if you're good, it'll work, and then you can run it for a long time.
How much have you split tested your offer? Like buy one, get one, buy one, get two free, buy this, get bundles with it of other stuff. Like, have you gone deep in that?
No. I kind of my first offer just stuck when I launched the product. It didn't. So when I launched, actually, it was interesting. So when I launched, it didn't work at all. So I spent 250, didn't get a single sale. I was like, okay, that's odd. Then I found out my Stripe was disabled, so people couldn't pay. so, so then I relaunched it. It still didn't work, and so I think it just went. Because that's the thing. If you do your research first, and you do a lot of research, you just know that the product works. Like it works for these other people. It's in demand. Da da da. So now I knew I could spend a little bit more and just figure out how to sell it because I just knew 100% was going to sell. So at first it was my Stripe being disabled. So then I figured that out. I relaunched it. Then I think it was there was another problem. I don't remember what it is, but I fixed something on the landing page. Something was wrong. Then it started selling a bit more, like maybe breaking even, but still wasn't good. And then I figured out the the sizing was fucked up because I didn't know how sizing worked in the US was a whole mess. So then after 3 days, I actually got an email from a customer, fixed the sizing. And after that, only after that, it went profitable. But it was really this process of like spending 250, okay, not profitable, stopping it, analyzing, relaunching, and just keep going because I knew it was going to work eventually.
It's the exact opposite of a burn and churn general store dropshipper. Literally the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
So think about that. Like I want everyone also listening on YouTube watching this. If this was you and you made a judgment, let's say even after the Stripe was fixed, and you made a judgment, this was or was not a winning product, a lot of people would have said not a winning product, and then they would have basically passed up on the number of days you've been selling this times anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they would have passed up on quite a bit of sales. That just if you know about the product, guys, like keep pushing because don't give up too early, because it can be something as simple as literally the sizing. Like I'm not from the US, I'm French, so I didn't like the sizing was different. I forgot to put a size chart, and then I added a size chart and went from break even to 30% profit. It was that simple, you know. Sometimes it can be something stupid.
I mean, like I've had other businesses too that are non-dropshipping businesses, like retail, brick and mortar, and like those businesses you're committed to. You can't like just test the service. Oh, it didn't work. Let's test a new service. What dude, this is awesome, man. Like I hope that someone listening to gets this gives them that like spark to say, okay, instead of doing what I've been doing that's not working, I think it's time I just decide on what I want to sell and then make it work. Right? Would you say that's a good way to summarize it?
I wouldn't decide what I want to sell. Like, would still go. I mean, if you have like a passion product that can still work, but what I would do is like really look at the market, find that niche, and find that product, but really find something where you, by doing that market analysis, you know, like, okay, if I take this product, I position myself this way, I know these guys are making it work. So for me, if I figure it out, it's going to work as well, and then go deep on that. That's the way I would do it. But then again, if you want to do Europe and you're really good at like building teams and everything, I know a ton of guys who make huge numbers with like the more general approach. But if you're alone, if that feels more like that way feels more appealing to you, if you want to do US, I think that's the way to go.
What are the top 3 niches you would go after right now if you were starting over?
I think a big one now that I finally figured out all the bullshit with Facebook is like weight loss, all that kind of shit, because I feel like I would have an edge. Other than that, I just like the big evergreen niches. So anything for like beauty, you know, back pain, knee pain, all that stuff, the really big evergreen niches. That's all the stuff that basically anything that affiliates would run is the kind of shit I like. Just a lot of scale and evergreen.
They're the best in the game, right? So like,
exactly.
I think if you actually, that's a great point, because if you actually look at like, for example, if you're scrolling on like yahoo.com or something, or some news site, and you see the articles like that have the bridge pages or the like the advertorials, and then that takes you to the offer, and the offers like buy one, like the crazy split, the three options. But like, I think that, and some of those are like super sketchy and weird and weight loss, like the Dr. Oz ones. But the thing that people need to realize is you instead of judging what they're selling, look at what you can take away from how they're selling it and why.
Yeah, exactly.
Selling, right? Because
exactly,
they're validating the product for you, you know?
Yeah, man, that's what I was telling you. Like those guys that I know that own offers that then affiliates run, I learned so much from them because affiliates, like native ads is hard, you know, and affiliates, they have less margin. Like these guys are really great marketers. And that was a big shift for me. It's like now I kind of look at my business and myself not as like drop shipping, but more as like building those offers that those like direct response marketing offers that then I'm actually now working with like an agency who might get affiliates on my offer. That's more how I look at it now.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. That's freaking, you're gonna be doing like 100K days if that takes off.
Yeah, if that goes through, it's gonna be crazy.
You got a proven concept. If you give a payout of, I don't know what your margin is on average, but let's say your payout's like 25, right? So I don't know what your average CPA is with Facebook. Let's say your
Yeah.
payout 25, you'll attract some really, really good marketers. I mean, you got to, now the next game is you got to make sure they're not doing some sketchy stuff to get your
Yeah.
product. But
Yeah.
so
That's where you have to have the good contacts to have
yeah,
the right affiliate. But
the
yeah.
game changes, right? What,
Yeah.
so if you were to start over today, here it is,
Yeah.
May 20th or 19th,
Yeah.
2020.
20th.
What would you do? Give me the bullet points step by step. If you got a little bit of cash, you're not broke, like,
Yeah.
what would you do?
I think doing it now, honestly, I would try to. I think it's not what I did, but honestly, I think I would try to work for someone first. So maybe learn media buying, learn something, and try to be around those people who are already doing it. Because for me, the learning curve of like doing everything myself was so huge. And like obviously, when everyone always talks about like the success once you're at a certain point, we talk about those things that are going good. But there was definitely like for me, 2021, like I no 2021 was okay, but 2020, I think I didn't make any money. I was working like 10 hours a day every day, like and if how it is, like it feels like shit. You're like, am I ever gonna make it? Like it feels like shit. So I feel like if you have any way to like fast track that and actually be around the right kind of people who are already doing that and see from the inside how the company is working, and you can get money, and so you don't have that like fear of I have X amount of money left and I'm gonna burn through it, whatever. I think that's honestly probably where I would start now.
Okay, so let me ask a follow-up question. So let's say you did that, you developed some
Mm-hmm.
skill sets. Maybe it's heavier in the media buying, but generally speaking, you have an understanding of how to get something to work in the e-commerce space,
Yeah,
and you got a little bit of capital.
yeah.
What would you do? Would you do your research to find the evergreen products that are selling and then go deep with that, or would you do something else?
Yeah, I think that's 100% what I would do now for me, for my style, because that's what I like. Now, from the people I talk to, there's also a huge potential right now in just drop shipping in Europe, especially if you do fashion or like jewelry. Again, if you can build the infrastructures in the team, there's huge potential there. So I would either do T4 and try to go deep like on those evergreen products, or go to EU and really try to figure out like the general dropshipping model while it still works, because obviously in a few years, like a couple of years, probably won't work. Probably become the same as the US basically.
What's one piece of advice you have for someone listening to this?
I have two, I think, actually. So the first one is you need to read if you're interested in like that more like going deep thing. Everyone needs to read like Breakthrough Advertising. That's I think the book that got me from like literally making zero to actually making money. Like that book is crazy. You read it too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. And the second thing for me was big. I know there's probably a lot of young guys listening to this. If you can uh, uh, move out, like if you're living at your parents, like move out sooner than later. Like that's something I think I waited too much on. And a few months ago, I actually moved. So I moved to Dubai and everything. Like as any dropshipper from Europe, obviously you have to do it. And that's just you don't realize how like that environment is really really important. Like environment crazy. So if you wake up every morning instead of waking up in your fucking parents' house, you wake up in Dubai or Miami or whatever you want to go. Like that's huge.
Changes everything, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool. All right, brother. Well, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And I guess we'll link back to like if you're cool with it, like your socials and stuff with this video.
Yeah.
But maybe you could just share real quick how people can reach you if they have questions, if they want to connect more or anything else.
Yeah. So, but if anyone wants to connect, I'm happy to talk. So my IG is Josue MRTTT, but you can put it in the description. And yeah, you can just send me a DM and I'll be happy to talk.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks again, brother.